Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Iron Coaching Court inside Royal Broen Pavilion on the campus of Seattle Pacific University. You are tuned in to game one of two of a double dip this afternoon. As first of all, the Western Washington Vikings will take on the Corban Warriors. And then coming up a little bit later on, the Humboldt State Lumberjacks will take on the host Seattle Pacific Falcons. But first of all, Western Washington picked second in the GNAC, and Corban is in the NAIA, the Cascade Collegiate Conference, and they play in the same conference as Northwest University over in Kirkland. And they yesterday lost to Seattle Pacific 63 to 38. An exhibition game for them. This will be an exhibition game for them as well. And Western Washington got a win over Humboldt State 68-56 in yesterday's matchup as well. And 22 points for Emma Duff for Western Washington in that game. And then for Corban, they also had 22 as well from Hallie Wright, and so both of those players looking to kind of get it going again today in this afternoon's tilt, as Bill Pilgrim in his fourth year coaching the Corban Warriors, and Carmen Dolfo is in her 31st year at the helm of the Western Washington program. She's been doing what she does for a long time. Starters for Corban: Gemma Laverne, Holly Golinor, Gracie McCoy, Shaylee Burgess, and Hallie Wright. And we are about set to get it going here a little early, as this was scheduled for a 1 p.m. tip, about 12:58. And we'll get you the starters for Western Washington, as this is a long two on the way from Brooke Walling, and it is off the mark, no good. Rebound to the Warriors. As Western Washington starting Avery Dykstra, Danny Iwami, Emma Duff, Brooke Walling, and Katrina Jamaica. And Corban in their first offensive possession. And this is Hallie Wright. And it's tied up now, as that was Shaylee Burgess. They're going to keep it here, as Western Washington won the tip, so Corban keeps it on the alternating possession. It'll be inbounded from underneath the basket. Greg Sexton with you on the webcast this afternoon. That one comes up short from Hallie Wright from outside, and Western Washington going the other way. The Vikings with it. Outside for a three from the left wing, and that one rims off no good from Emma Duff. Other way, Corban moving it quickly, and it's knocked out of bounds. And it'll stay here. It'll be inbounded again underneath the basket. And this will come in to Gemma Laverne. In the post, and then back out. And a runner on the way from Gracie McCoy is no good. Still no score in this one with just over 8.5 to play in the first quarter. Underneath for the Vikings. And now kicking it back out, Iwami with it. And she pulls up and misses that shot. Nobody has hit so far, but the Vikings pull down the offensive rebound, and there's another three on the way. That's short. And that one was from Holly Golinor. So here come the Warriors now. Still no score in this one. And almost 2 minutes in. And this is going to be Holly Golinor. And she reverses it up and in. Count it. And the foul. And so Corban on the board first. Golinor reversed it up and in and drew the foul, and she will head to the free throw line. 7:54 remaining, and Western Washington is going to make a substitution here as Riley Dykstra is going to come in. Riley Dykstra, the younger sister of Avery Dykstra, both out of Everson, Washington, as Golanor makes the free throw, makes it a 3-0 game for Corbin here in the first quarter. This is Avery Dykstra at the controls for the Vikings now. That one is poked away, and it's going to be Vikings basketball. Be inbounded from in front of the Corbin bench, and here's Avery Dykstra moving over to the other side of the court. Iwami straight on three, and she knocks it down, ties it up at 3. And so Western Washington gives up the three-point play and then gets the three-pointer right back, and they're going to get Avery Dykstra for a foul in the backcourt. Corbin will keep the ball, and it's going to be Gemma Laverne to inbound it as Avery Dykstra will come out with that foul. Do not want to see her pick up 2 quick ones, so Cameron Dolfo getting her out, or Carmen Dolfo rather, getting her out right away. In the post, putting it up with some pressure, there is Shaylee Burgess, and she couldn't get it to go. Going the other way now, the Vikings, and we get a turnover. It's going to go the other way. Corbin's going to have it with 6:50 to go here in the first quarter. Not the most highly tuned offensive machines so far yet in this one, but it's early. And here's a shot on the way, and off the mark from McCoy. Here's Iwami pulling up and leaving that one short. But it comes right back out, and another shot off the mark there by Brooke Walling. And Corbin with the rebound the other way. Holly Wright at the controls. This is Golanor, and she's unable to get it to go. Vikings the other way. Molly Olson into the game now. And this is going to be Jamaica stepping back and leaving it short off the front rim. So both teams coming out pretty well ice cold here in the first few minutes. You'll see if they can get settled in. That one's going to be thrown away, and Vikings are going to sub in a few here, and Corbin will sub in a couple as well. So this is Molly Olson at the point now for the Vikings, and she's going to take it to the bucket and get fouled, and actually she just gets blocked. They didn't I don't believe they called a foul. They just said that the ball was out of bounds off of the Warriors. That one's stolen by Hallie Wright on the inbounds pass, and Corbin will come the other way. Wright playing well for the Warriors, as she did yesterday. As this one is off the hands of Casey Paffhausen, and it's going to go the other way, and a lay-in as they find Gracie Castaneda ahead of the pack for the lay-in. as she puts the Vikings up 5-3 now. Under 5 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Low scoring so far. And here is Hallie Wright kicking it in the corner. They work it around. This is Alyssa Wiley going up with the left hand, leaving it well short. And we'll get to a timeout here with 4:16 remaining in the first quarter. Just a 5-3 score, Western Washington in front. And we'll see if these teams can get on track when we come back from the timeout in just a moment. Back inside Royal Brown Pavilion, Greg Sexton with you on the SVU webcast. As this is Western Washington and Corbin. SPU will be taking on Humboldt State coming up, scheduled for 3 o'clock. We'll see if we get it started by that point, as Western Washington brought the ball in, but they were not ready for play yet. Now we get the go-ahead. And this will be Castaneda moving it across midcourt. And she gets it back. Goes in the corner. And they try to thread it inside, but it's deflected away and stolen. And coming the other way is Gracie McCoy. Now Gemma Laverne with it. Laverne kicks it out. They get it inside. They move it around, and Laverne with a shot on the way, no good. Neither team can really find the bucket yet, as this is going to be a bucket for Carly Zaragoza, as she gets to the bucket and puts it in off the glass for 2. It is 7-3 Vikings. This is going to be Gracie McCoy getting it over to Alyssa Wiley, and she leaves that one short. But coming down with the rebound and leaving another one short there is Gracie McCoy. Vikings the other way. Monique Fierke. And now spinning and getting to the bucket. Riley Dykstra, a nice move there. Drop step. And she cut between a couple of defenders to get to the bucket for a lay-in. It is 9-3 Vikings. Here's a shot off the back iron, no good, by Casey Paffhausen. And the Vikings the other way. They lead 9-3, 2.5 to go in the first quarter. And a 3 on the way, and off the mark. Corbin will pull down the rebound, and they're going to call a timeout here with 2:22 to go in this first quarter. They had a 3-point play, and that's it so far in this quarter. It is 9-3, as this will be a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it here. Let's get you some stats from this one so far. Western Washington now actually 4 of 13 from the floor, 31%, but Corbin just 1 of 11, 9%. And the Vikings have a 3. They're 1 for 4 beyond the arc. Corbin has a free throw. That's the only trip to the free throw line in this game. and the Vikings out rebounding the Warriors by a count of 11-7. It'll be Corbin basketball with 2:22 to go first quarter. And getting it into the front court to Josie Ferry. And now McCoy with it. Tsutsui had it pulled away. And it's a tie-up. It's going to go over to the Vikings. And they'll make a couple of subs here. 2:08 to go, first quarter. Avery Dykstra will bring it across midcourt for the Vikings. And we get a player control foul called, and it's going to go the other way. Corbin will get the basketball back. Offensive foul called against the Vikings on that one. And here's Hallie Wright. This is Golinor, and now Wright again. Out to Josie Ferry. Wiley. And it's taken away as Truett Riley comes up with the steal. Ahead to Emma Duff. Couldn't get the basket to go. And the Vikings keep it. As Duff ends up putting it in, Riley had another crack at it there. And Duff ends up putting it home to make it 11-3 as they pressure Hallie Wright in the backcourt. But Corbin gets it across. A minute to go, first quarter. 11-3 Vikings over the Warriors. Here's Wright. Looking for somewhere to go. Puts up a three and leaves it short. And there, it's going to go the other way. I thought maybe she had drawn a foul there, but no, not the case. As I believe they actually called a shot clock violation. That's why she hoisted that one up. No gym, the gym audio not really working well in this headset from up here in the room that I'm in, so I don't get a lot of the gym audio. But Duff, another lay-in there to make it 13-3 for the Vikings. And the Vikings kind of settling in. Corbin, of course, the NAIA team this weekend, playing a couple exhibition games, and that's going to do it. That'll make it, that'll be the end of the first quarter with the score 13-3 as Corbin got the first 3 points of the game, and they have not scored since. The Vikings scored 13 unanswered, and they lead it 13-3 after one quarter of play. We'll be right back in just a moment. Back inside Royal Browan Pavilion. Iron Coaching Court, the site of this one at Seattle Pacific University. And the Western Washington Vikings leading the Corban Warriors 13-3 as we move to the second quarter. This is Hallie Wright being guarded out on top, and they get it inside, and the shot misses, but a foul called as Shaylee Burgess went up for that one. 6'4" junior out of Honolulu, Hawaii, and one of two Hawaiians on the Corban roster, as Casey Paffhausen will come back in, and Burgess will head to the free throw line. Rattles that one in and out. Kayla Sutsui, the other Hawaiian on the roster for Corban, she's out there on the floor as well. And Burgess gets one of two and makes it a 13-4 ball game. That ends the 13-0 run by the Vikings. Here's a three on the way, though, and that one is well off the mark by Katrina Jamaica. And coming the other way, Hallie Wright with it. Hallie Wright, one of the bigger players out there. And this one's going to go the other way, as they got an offensive foul called on the Warriors. Vikings with it the other direction. And Emma Duff is fouled going to the basket. That foul on Casey Paffhausen. And Duff with 4 points in the first quarter to the free throw line now with 5 as she makes the first free throw. Gets the second one to rattle home as well. So it's 15-4, Vikings by 11 again. Or by 11 for the first time. As a pass there, and it's a turnover for Corban, as the Vikings will take it the other way. Not sure if they said that Corban stepped on the end line. It's a little different with no gym audio in the headset here, and we'll see if that's something that gets adjusted at some point. But the Vikings with the basketball and a 15-4 lead, 8:36 to go, second quarter. Got to be a little more dependent on, here's Iwami for 3, off the mark, no good. A little more dependent on watching the officials' calls rather than just hearing the PA announcer, because I'm not able to do that. That was a travel, though, and the Vikings keep it. Duff missed the lay-in off the glass, did not catch iron. We get another whistle. It'll stay here with the Warriors. Foul called there on the Vikings. Brooke Walling out of Vancouver, Washington. Here is a 3 on the way from Hallie Wright, no good. And the rebound comes down to Emma Duff. Iwami pushes it ahead to Avery Dykstra. Iwami gets it back. And a nice move there by Katrina Jamaica, but couldn't get the shot to go. Right the other way. Inside for Burgess. And that one's stolen away by Emma Duff. Avery Dykstra looks inside. And Walling tried to get it back out, had it poked away. And now the other way, Duff ends up with it again. Here come the Vikings. Duff trying to go between a couple of defenders, and she draws the foul. 7:02 to go, second quarter. And both teams going to sub in a couple of players apiece. Duff to the free throw line. And she's got 6 points here to begin the game and now make it 7. She had 22 yesterday against Humboldt State. And that one's off the mark, no good, but the rebound pulled down by Brooke Walling. And that one is thrown right to Hallie Wright. Coming the other way. And up and off the mark was Holly Golenor. Here's Iwami cutting to the basket and couldn't get that one to go. Well off the mark. It's going to stay with... No, it's going to go over to the Warriors, rather. 16-4 your score here with 6:29 to go and more subs coming in. 6:29 remaining first half. And this is kind of a defensive battle. The offense is struggling. Vikings have been able to put a few buckets on the board. This is Dykstra, Riley Dykstra. And now a shot on the way from Maddie Grandboys. Couldn't get that to go. Hallie Wright the other way. Inside and off the hands of Josie Ferry, out of bounds for Corbin. Vikings will take it back. $5:50 to go. And Gracie Castaneda moving it across midcourt for the Vikings. Ball around the perimeter. Inside and now back out to Castaneda for a three. And she splashes that one. Got a good look at it and made it a comfortable shot. And it is 19-4 for the Vikings. Castaneda with the three there. Here's Wright, and she gets to the bucket and lays it up and in. A little bit contested there, but able to power through. Vikings the other way with a 19-6 lead. And stepping back and popping that one in is Carly Zaragoza, as that one rattled around a little bit and fell home. 21-6, as now we're seeing a little bit of offense between these two teams. Here is another trip to the bucket and a couple of shots missed there by Holly Golenor, but she will head to the free throw line as she was fouled on the second attempt. That'll take us to immediate timeout with 4:37 to go, second quarter. And it is a 21-6 ball game in favor of the Western Washington Vikings. You're watching the first game of the doubleheader this afternoon on the SPU webcast. We'll be right back in just a moment. Back inside Royal Rome Pavilion, Iron Coaching Court, the site of this one at Seattle Pacific University, as Western Washington leads Corbin 21-6 with Holly Golenor heading to the free throw line. Junior out of Meridian, Idaho, and she rattles the first free throw home. As the Warriors now 4 of 5 from the free throw line, with the second free throw good by Golenor as well. 21-8. From the field, the Warriors just shooting 12%, and the Vikings a little bit more respectable 32%. That's passable, and of course, when you're playing an NAIA team, it's just fine. But Corbin will take it on the turnover here, trailing by 13, 21-8. And this one is stolen away, and it's going to be a wide open lay-in by Maddie Grandboys, freshman from Marysville, Washington, just up the road. And she had an easy dash to the basket there to make it 23-8 for the Vikings. That one off the mark, no good by Laverne. And it'll go over to the Vikings. The score 23-8 and 3:49 to go here in the second quarter. This is Riley Dykstra getting it back to Castaneda. Dykstra in the corner, loops it inside, and the turnaround hook shot is off the mark by Truett Riley. Corbin the other way, it's poked out of bounds by Riley Dykstra, the freshman from Everson, Washington, younger sister of Avery. Both graduates of Linden Christian. As this is, they give the basket there to Golenor, and she will head to the free throw line as well. So the hoop and the harm. 23-10. Couple of subs in as Wright will come back in along with Sutsui for the Warriors. And Golenor stepping to the free throw line to try to complete a three-point play, and she does. 23-11. Golenor with 8 of the Warriors' 11 in this game. As this one is taken away by Sutsui, and she has it poked away going the other direction. It'll be Corbin basketball as Western Washington poked it out. Inbounds pass will come to Burgess, and now Golenor. And McCoy now. Hallie Wright with it. Golenor drives and is knocked to the floor. Ran into a couple of people there, and they are going to get a defensive blocking foul there on the Vikings. Golenor rewarded for the drive to the bucket with another trip to the free throw line, and the Warriors in the bonus now. That one is up and good for Golenor. And that is her 9th point of the game. It's 23-12. She gets another one to go. And it's a 10-point margin here. For Corbin, it's been pretty much all Holly Golenor and hasn't gotten a lot of help scoring-wise. She's got 10 of the 13. And that one knocked away. And here come the Warriors the other way. Right. Gets it inside. Golenor, turn around, and she's filling it now as that one goes down. And the Warriors within 23-15. Going the other way. Nice move there by Truett Riley, rather, as she goes up and off the glass. Good spin move. And it's a 10-point margin again. 1:47 to go in the first half. Tsutsui going to take a three from the right wing, and she knocks it down. Tsutsui got a good look and put it in. And that is going to make it a 7-point margin, 25-18. Corbin hanging around here with the Vikings. Ball out of bounds with 1:26 to go. And several substitutions on the floor for the Vikings in particular. Warriors making a sub or two as well. Here's Tsutsui. And underneath, Burgess puts it up and in off the glass. Here come the Warriors within 5, 25-20. 1:10 to go, second quarter. And there's going to be a foul called here as Brooke Walling gets the foul called on Shaylee Burgess. Burgess, her first for the Warriors. And the Vikings bring it in bounds. Dykstra tied up by Tsutsui, and she gets a tie-up called. It'll stay, though, with the Vikings. Danny Iwami will inbound with 1:02 to go. And Dykstra again hassled by Wright. That'll stay with the Vikings. Warriors turning up the intensity here. Avery Dykstra with it. Duff, and it's going the other way. Warriors with a chance to get within a possession here with under a minute to play in the second quarter. They have come on here in the late minutes of the first half. That one off the mark, no good. Rebound, and it's in. Shaylee Burgess puts in the offensive rebound, and it's 25-22. And we get a traveling violation whistled on the Vikings. And the Warriors with a chance with a three-pointer to tie this one up. 32.1 left. And the Warriors have strung together a good run here late in the second quarter. Hallie Wright will walk it across the timeline. Shot clock is off. No, it is not. It's about a 2-second differential between shot and game clock. Tsutsui tried to loop it into Burgess. Golinor picks it up and puts it in, and it's a 1-point margin. 2 seconds to go. Here's a shot by Jamaica at the buzzer. I don't think she got it off. It's short anyway. But the Vikings have their lead trimmed to 1 at halftime, 25-24, as the Vikings were well in control of this one, so it seemed. And the Warriors had nothing going except for Golinor, and then they really kind of started getting it from other spots on the roster, and they pull to within 1 at halftime. We'll see if they can come out and keep that going after halftime. But it is a 25-24 score at the break. Western Washington leads Corbin. We'll take a break here on the SVU webcast and be back with you in just a moment. Back to Royal Browan Pavilion. Greg Sexton with you at halftime here as the Western Washington Vikings having their lead trimmed down to 1, 25-24 by the Corbin Warriors, as the Vikings shooting 35% for the first half, 34.5, so 35%, and Corbin getting back to a 32% clip, as they were ice cold for most of that first half, and then they turned it on in the last few minutes of the second quarter, as Corbin just hits one outside the arc, but just 1 of 5 out there. The Vikings just 2 of 8, so only 25%. At the free throw line, Corban 7 of 8, 88%, and 75% for the Vikings. And they just hold a 1 rebound lead, or the rebounding edge in favor of the Vikings, 18-17, as really looked like the Vikings were in control of this one. They have had the lead for almost 15 minutes in the game, and Corban has only had the lead for 20 seconds. But Corban runs down and actually the Vikings led by as many as 15 in this one. They led 23-8. So it is actually a 17-1 run that the Warriors are on right now, going into the halftime break. As we'll get you some individual stats as well. As let's take a look at Corban first, as Holly Golanor really took over this game. 6 of 6 at the free throw line, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 rebounds, and she's got 14 points. And then Shaylee Burgess coming up with 5 points and 6 rebounds as well, and had a block and a steal. As for the Vikings, they got a lot of players into the game. They got 7 points from Emma Duff, as she was 2 of 5 from the floor, but 3 of 4 at the free throw line as well. And a couple of rebounds for her. 4 rebounds for Katrina Jamaica, but she is held off the scoreboard, as Gracie Castaneda chipped in 5 points, including a 3. After this one is over, we will take a break, and we will have Seattle Pacific and Humboldt State coming up, scheduled for a 3 p.m. tip. And we'll see if we get started right at 3 or maybe a little after, but this one moving pretty quickly. 25-24 at halftime, as Western Washington leads Corban. And we'll step aside again on the SPU webcast and be back in a few minutes. Welcome back to Royal Broham Pavilion, Iron Coaching Court, the site of this one, as we tick down toward the second half. About 3 minutes left on the clock, as the Western Washington Vikings leading the Corbin Warriors 25-24, and the Vikings led 23-8 with a few minutes left in the second quarter, and Corbin went on a run and make it a 17-1 run for the Warriors. Holly Golanor doing most of the damage, as she has 14 points for Corbin, making the trip up from Salem, Oregon. Of course, Western Washington coming down from Bellingham, not too far north of Seattle. And Humboldt State making the trip up from California. They will take on the Seattle Pacific Falcons a little bit later on. As the Warriors out on the floor, and now here come the Vikings back as well, with just over 2 minutes showing on the scoreboard until we get the second half rolling. As the Vikings kind of had control of that one and let it slip, and it's a tight ball game, 1 point, as we get ready to move to the third quarter. We'll step aside one more time here on the webcast and be back with you for the start of the third quarter in just a moment. Back inside Royal Broham Pavilion, Greg Sexton with you on the SPU webcast, as we will get the third quarter of this one started in just a moment. Carmen Dolfo having a talk with her team. I'm sure she did in the locker room as well, as she's trying to get them settled and back in control of this one. And Corbin trying to pick up where they left off to end the second quarter, as they got within one here at the break, 25-24, and it'll be Hallie Wright to inbound for the Warriors to get this third quarter started. Gets it in and gets it to Gracie McCoy. McCoy being guarded by Iwami, and a little more intensity potentially, at least from Iwami. But there's Burgess with a turnaround and puts the Warriors in front, 26-25. Burgess quickly gets the Warriors on the board here in the third. And this one knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Vikings. But Corbin with the lead now over the Vikings. And it'll be inbounded to Duff. Dykstra, and now Jamaica gets it inside and is poked away. And they're going to say it went off of Brooke Walling out of bounds. It'll be Corbin basketball. They'll get it into Wright in the backcourt. And that one, an easy steal for Avery Dykstra. Goes to the bucket. Couldn't get it to go. And it is going to stay with the Vikings. And don't believe there was a foul call. Just went out of bounds off of the Warriors. Here's Iwami getting it to Jamaica. Dykstra drives, kicks to Walling, and Walling knocks down the elbow jumper and puts the Vikings back in front, 27-26. Walling got a good look at that one and knocked down the 15-footer. Here come the Warriors the other way. That one knocked away from Burgess. And here's Dykstra to the bucket between about 3 or 4 defenders. And believe they got her for a travel. As she comes out now. And they give it to the Warriors, who are, again, pressured in the backcourt. A couple of players pressuring the ball in the backcourt. This one over the head of Burgess, out of bounds. Vikings will get it back. So definitely the Vikings turning up the pressure on defense here in the third quarter. And getting some early results. Iwami gets it to Walling. Walling drives, puts it up with the left hand, couldn't get it to go. Rebound comes down to Gemma Laverne for the Warriors, and she'll get it to Wright. Wright will hand it off to McCoy. This is Golinor. And it's poked away by Iwami from McCoy, but Iwami knocked it out. Warriors will keep it. 10 on the shot clock. Comes into Wright. Gets it to Burgess. 3 on the clock. That one flung up there wildly and didn't draw iron from Truett Riley, or from rather Grayson McCoy. Had the wrong 21. Coming the other way here now, Katrina Jamaica. And she puts a nice move there as she spun to her left and then went back to the right and laid it up and in. 29-26, Vikings by 3. Warriors briefly had the lead at 26-25. And the Vikings with the last couple of buckets. Here's a 3 on the way, and it's off the mark from Gemma Laverne. Vikings the other way. Nice give and go there, or a just a pass, rather, not a give and go, but a pass there and a bucket for Katrina Jamaica of the Vikings. Burgess leaves that one short. Wright tried to put it back up, and then she draws the foul. Vikings back out to a 5-point lead as they are trying to regain some of their mojo. Few subs in for the Vikings. The Vikings are the NCAA Division II team on the floor, and Corban the NAIA team. But the Warriors have been up to the task as Hallie Wright puts in the free throw to make it a 31-27 game. Second one is up and good as well. Nothing but net on the second. 31-28. Wright has 4 points. And the Warriors within a possession. This one left short, and a tangle up there and going to the floor hard. Golinor and Brooke Walling. And they'll wipe up the court there. Ball will be out of bounds underneath the basket with 6:08 to go in the third. 31-28. Vikings leading the Warriors. Exhibition game here this afternoon. And this is going to be a quick jumper from the baseline for Molly Olsen, rather. Olsen knocks it down and puts the Vikings back up by 5, 33-28. Olsen with her first couple of points in the game. Wright reverses it up and in. Nice looking move there from Hallie Wright to get the Warriors right back within 3. Here is Dykstra finding her sister for the 3. Riley Dykstra puts the Vikings up by 6, 36-30. As she got the assist from her sister Avery. Here is Shaylee Burgess, driving to the bucket and putting it in off the glass for Corbin to get them back within 4, 36-32. Another bucket on the other end here by Brooke Walling from the free throw line. And this game is starting to see some offensive flow now. 38-32, Vikings by 6. As both teams really pretty cold in the first half, the Vikings were able to put a few buckets in. And, of course, the Warriors went on the run at the end of the second quarter. Here is Hallie Wright again reversing it up and in. And that'll make it a 4-point game again, 38-34. Here come the Vikings. Walling had it poked away, but right to Dykstra. And now her sister, Riley Dykstra. This is Walling taking it to the bucket and laying it up and in with the left hand to put the Vikings back up by 6. Warriors being held at arm's length here by the Vikings, and we get a tie up there. And we got a foul actually called. As we'll get to a media timeout. Foul was called on Golinor, her first. It is 40-34 with 4:08 to go in the third as the Vikings lead the Warriors. We'll be right back in just a moment. (40-34) Western Washington over Corbin here with 4:08 to go in the third. And coming back from the timeout in the third quarter, Vikings will have it up by 6. And it'll be Riley Dykstra to get it in bounds to Molly Olsen, junior out of Napavine, Washington. Here going to the basket was Avery Dykstra, and she couldn't get it to go. It'll come the other way. 8 points now for Hallie Wright. And they get it to Wright on the left wing. And now Golinor goes to the bucket, lays it up and in easily with the left hand. Quick turnaround, and the bucket was right there for her. The other way, though, same thing. Molly Olson gets to the bucket, lays it up and in with the left hand, and puts the Vikings right back up by 6 and draws the foul. She will head to the free throw line with 3:30 to go here in the third quarter. First foul called on Hallie Wright, rather. And Molly Olson to the free throw line. 4 points, and now make it 5 as she completes the three-point play. 7-point margin now for the Vikings, 43-36. And here's Wright taking it all the way to the bucket and kicking it out. This one poked out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Warriors. And Alyssa Wiley had it poked away by Riley Dykstra. Wiley will inbound. Here's Wright. And they get it inside. Golinor in between a couple of defenders, lays it up and in. And draws the foul. And Holly Golinor excited about that one. She's got 18 points in this game. And gets the Warriors back within 5. She will try to complete a three-point play on the Corban end. .3:11 to go, third quarter. Golinor can't get the free throw to go. She's got 18 points, though, to lead the way for the Warriors. Jamaica. And now Olson getting to the bucket again, lays it up and in. Molly Olson has had a few easy trips to the basket here in the third quarter. 45-38. Vikings by 7. And this one a little too easy there for Hallie Wright as she gets all the way to the bucket. And we get that's 10 points now for Hallie Wright. We get a timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout as the team's out onto the floor. The Vikings anyway. The Warriors, a few of them having a seat, but I believe this is just going to be a 30-second timeout. It is a 5-point margin. Vikings by 5. It was a 1-point margin at halftime, and the Vikings have been able to get out to just a bit of a lead here. A couple of possessions, led by as many as 7 here in the third quarter. And trying to keep the pressure on, but both teams really have seen a lot more success offensively in this third quarter. As we take a look now at the stats for the game, both teams now shooting well over 40% for the game. The Vikings shooting 45% and the Warriors shooting 43%. So a major turnaround from what we were seeing in the first half. Both of these teams really have gotten untracked. And if we take a look at the third quarter in particular, Corban shooting 70% and Western Washington shooting 69% here in this quarter. 2:41 to go in the third quarter. And it'll be Western Washington inbounding from their end of the court. Olson will bring it across. Olson pulls up for 3 and leaves it short. Chased down and lost out of bounds. Emma Duff went after it and couldn't come up with it. Hallie Wright. Bring it across. And that one poked away. Here's Duff the other way for the Vikings. Duff runs over Wright, and Wright draws the offensive foul on Duff. It'll go the other way. The Warriors will take it. 2:11 to go. Second foul on Duff. On Emma Duff. As this will be Wright moving it across. 2 minutes now in the third. 5-point ball game. Tsutsui gets it to Wiley, and the Vikings take that one away. Coming the other way, Riley Dykstra finds Casey Paffhausen. Or they score there, do the Vikings. That was Jamaica getting the bucket to go. It was Carly Zaragoza. Again, I misidentified the number 34, looking at the wrong roster, as that one off the mark, but a foul. And the foul called on Katrina Jamaica of the Vikings. And that'll send Hallie Wright to the free throw line with 1:22 to go here in the third quarter. Right to the free throw line. Trying to get the Warriors back within a couple of possessions, and that'll make it a 6-point margin. Right with 11 now. Golenor not on the floor at the moment, but I'm sure she'll get back out there as Wright knocks in another free throw. She's got 12 for the game. 47-42. Vikings by 5. And it's been about that margin lately. Vikings by a couple of possessions. This is Jamaica getting in to the paint, and they say that she walked with it. It's going to be the Warriors basketball with 1:10 to go in the third. And that one dribbled off the foot there by Gracie McCoy, but she's able to pick it back up, get it to Burgess. She's right up against the timeline. And now gets it to Laverne. Laverne, a three on the way, nothing but net. And the Warriors are back within 2, 47-45. Here's Olsen kicking it back to Jamaica. And now Iwami finds an open teammate there. Zaragoza couldn't get the shot to go. 47-45, and the Warriors with a chance to tie or take the lead. This is McCoy. And we get a whistle. And we get a foul. Foul called on the Vikings' Danny Iwami. And that is her second. Couple of subs in per team. Gracie McCoy will head to the free throw line. Senior out of Susanville, California, the only senior on the Corbin roster. And she puts in the first, and that's her first point of the ball game. She's got a chance here to tie the game back up and leaves that one short off the mark. So Western Washington clings to a 1-point lead. They should have the last possession here of the third quarter. Here's Iwami, a three on the way, and it's off the back iron, no good. And Dykstra's putback is not in time. And again, it's a 1-point margin after 3 quarters of play, as the Vikings had a bigger lead for most of that third quarter, but Corbin at the end of the quarter going on a bit of a run, and it is a 47-46 ball game. Good one here from Seattle Pacific University. this afternoon. We'll have the fourth quarter for you in just a moment on the SPU webcast. Teams back out onto the floor for quarter number 4. 1-point ball game here. Vikings with the lead. Warriors with the basketball. As they start the fourth quarter with possession, trying to take the lead. This is Gemma Laverne out of Emmett, Idaho. Gets it to Burgess. And now Tsutsui with it. Inside, Golanor had it poked away. 6 on the shot clock, and it'll stay with the Warriors. And they'll reset it to 20 on the shot clock. As Laverne will get it in, and it's poked away. And that was Riley Dykstra that got in the passing lane. Nice pass there as Iwami found Walling going to the basket. She is knocked to the floor and fouled, and she will head to the free throw line. 9:28 to go. And Brooke Walling to the free throw line. Walling 3 of 7 from the floor and making her first trip to the stripe this afternoon. And misses that one off the back iron. She'll try to split a pair here. And couldn't get that one to go either. Rebound to Golanor. Vikings Vikings up by 1. Warriors down still just 1. Looking to make some noise here in Royal Broham Pavilion on Veterans Day weekend, as we celebrated Veterans Day on Thursday. That one knocked out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Warriors with 9:11 to go. And Laverne will get it in to Hallie Wright. Wright drives, loses her footing a bit, gets it back, and spins it up and in, and puts the Warriors in front, 48-47. Hallie Wright with 14. As she has been big for the Warriors here in this second half. Here's Dykstra getting it to Iwami. She'll pull up and puts that one up a little too strong, but Riley Dykstra able to get to it, and now they're going to say it's Warriors basketball. And so they give it back to Corbin. They have a 1-point lead, 8:42 to go. Coming in for Western Washington is going to be Maddie Grandboys. And Riley Dykstra will check out. Hallie Wright at the controls in the backcourt, being guarded by Grandboys. Wright gets it across with the left hand and now moves back toward the middle of the floor. That one thrown out of the reach of Burgess, by Golinor, and a turnover by the Warriors, and the Vikings will get it back with a chance to retake the lead. Good ball game here this afternoon. Exhibition game for Corbin. The Vikings may be actually counting this one as a part of their non-conference schedule. I believe actually no, they're not either. But Corbin actually played 4 games last weekend in the NAIA and got off to a 1-3 start. As they are really playing well this afternoon after they started off ice cold. This one right through the hands of Duff, and it's going to be Warriors basketball. They will head the other way with a 1-point lead. 7:55 to go. Right across midcourt. Using that left hand and then spinning back toward her right. This one dropped over the top for Golinor, but she can't get to it as it's knocked away. And here come the Vikings. Poked away from Duff. Saved in bounds, but right to Golinor. And here's Wright the other way. Wright hands to Burgess. Burgess back to Golinor just inside the arc and couldn't get that to go, but an offensive rebound. And a 3 on the way from Gemma Laverne, and it's down for a 4-point lead for the Warriors. Here the other way quickly, a 2 from inside the arc from Maddie Grandboys, and she's got 4 now. That gets the Vikings back to within 2. Still a lot of time left in this game. Just under 7 minutes to play. Wright driving to the basket. Had it knocked away. Vikings the other way with it. Duff cross court for Iwami. Grandboys had it poked away momentarily. Got it back. And now we get a whistle. And we get a foul. That's going to be called on Shaylee Burgess. That's her second. And it'll be inbounded underneath the basket. Here's Olsen. And Olsen with a nice looking move puts it up and in and ties up the game again. 51 apiece. 6:20 to go. And we have a treat for you here this afternoon as these teams have come to play. Golinor had it poked away, and it's going to stay with the Warriors. Western Washington picked to finish second in the GNAC, and they were looking for an easier time today. Here is Golinor, a 3 on the way, and it's good. And the Warriors retake the lead, 54-51. Holly Golinor with 21 points. Here's Olsen. And now a travel whistled on Emma Duff, the senior from Tumwater, Washington. And the Warriors will take it back with 5:45 to go. Shaylee Burgess. Duff will come out. Iwami back in for the Vikings. Iwami, a 6th-year senior, actually. She is taking an extra year due to the COVID rules, and also had a year that was cut short, so they gave her actually now 6 years as Golinor pulls that one away and puts it in off the glass, and the Warriors lead by 5. Here's Iwami. Olsen. And she has that one poked away by Burgess. 5:18 to go, and a timeout called by Carmen Dolfo of the Western Washington Vikings. And we'll see if they will make that a full timeout. I believe so. 56-51. Corbin over Western Washington with 5:18 to go. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Back to action here at Seattle Pacific University, and Corbin has come to play. They lead by 5. Holly Golinor leading the way for them with 23 points, and it is a 56-51 margin. Vikings with the basketball, and they throw it away. Here's Hallie Wright the other direction. 1-on-3, couldn't get the lay-in to go. And it's going to go the other way. The Vikings will get it back. And a foul called. And that one is on Holly Golinor. That is her third. And the Vikings take it back the other way. Here's Avery Dykstra into the front court. Gets it to Iwami. Back out Zaragoza. Drives and draws the foul. Carly Zaragoza will head to the free throw line momentarily here. Sophomore out of El Dorado, California. And 4:59 to go in this one. A couple of big free throws coming up for Zaragoza. Knocks down the first. Zaragoza now 5 points in the ball game. Looking for another, and that one rims out. Rebound to Shaylee Burgess. 4-point ball game. Corbin with the lead and the ball. And Hallie Wright being hounded by Maddie Grandboys across midcourt. Wright will get it back. Gets it to Golinor, and it's blocked by Riley Dykstra. Here's Avery Dykstra kicking it back out for a three to her sister, but couldn't get it to go. We get a whistle, and we're going the other way. Let's see here. I believe they called a tie-up. And they did, but it is Corbin's basketball on the alternating possession. And so they will head the other way with just under 4.5 to play. Leading by 4 over the Western Washington Vikings. And we get an offensive foul on Shaylee Burgess away from the ball. That's her fourth. Big call there. As the Warriors were looking to get another bucket there. But the Vikings still within 4 and now with the basketball. Trying to get within a possession. Dykstra to Dykstra. Riley, a 3 on the way. Good. And the Vikings right back within 1. 56-55. Avery Dykstra the assist to her freshman sister Riley. And it's a 1-point ball game. Here's Wright to the basket. Couldn't get it to go. Gets the rebound. Kicks it out. Golinor. A jumper from the free throw line. Puts it in from the elbow. And it's a 3-point margin again for the Warriors. Golinor 25 in the game. Here's a 3 on the way from Avery Dykstra. No, from Riley Dykstra, rather. And she couldn't get that one to go. She was trying to hit back-to-back threes. Here's Wright across midcourt for the Warriors. They lead by 3. And that one thrown over the top there as McCoy was trying to get it to Golinor. And Golinor not looking for it. So the Warriors turn it over. Burgess back in for the Warriors for Paffhausen. And the Vikings with the ball trailing by 3, just over 3 minutes to play here. And this is Walling going to the basket, couldn't get it to go. A little too strong, and it's pulled away by Hallie Wright. Warriors the other way with a 3-point lead and under 3 to go. 58-55. McCoy out on the left wing. And now Golinor. This is Laverne. And now Wright with it. Gets it to Golinor. She had it poked away. It's loose on the floor, and it comes out. Riley Dykstra comes away with it. Gets it to her sister Avery. Avery sets things up in the front court. Here's Walling getting it to Iwami for the easy bucket from the baseline there. About a little 6-foot jump shot from the left baseline, and we are in a 1-point game again. 58-57. Under 2 to play. Here's Wright. Gets it to Golinor. Inside, Wright. And she's fouled. I believe it was Grand Boys. It was. Maddie Grandboys with her second foul. And she will come out. Corbin will substitute Wiley into inbound with 1:47 to go. Gets it into Burgess, and now Golinor with it. Corbin trying to do something on this possession with just a 1-point lead. Wright drives between a couple of defenders. And she's fouled going to the basket with 1:30 to go, just 4 on the shot clock. That's going to go on Danny Iwami. That is her third. And it'll send Hallie Wright to the free throw line. Wright with 14 points in this one. Golinor with 25, but Wright has really been key in this one as well. She misses the first free throw, though. And she will get another. That one is good. So Hallie Wright splits a pair, and it's a 2-point ball game. Here is Avery Dykstra kicking it out to Iwami for a 3, and it's off the mark, no good. Iwami wanted that one, would have given the Vikings the lead. Wright gets it across the timeline. 1:10 to go. And that one poked away, but lost out of bounds by Avery Dykstra. 1:07 to go. 18 on the shot clock for the Warriors. And this one almost got away, but Wright gets to it. Wright will get it to Burgess with 5 on the shot clock. Ticking down. Wright flings it up there and draws nothing. as it'll go back to the Vikings with 49.5 left. They'll take a timeout as they will talk things over. Big possession coming up here. Vikings with a chance to tie or take the lead. And we'll keep it here, as this one really has been an exciting basketball game this afternoon. 49.5 left. And these teams really both have turned it up offensively here in the second half. Corbin shooting 45% for the game, and the Vikings shooting 42%. 80% from the line for the Warriors, and just 56% for the Vikings. Holly Golanor, 25 points to lead the way for the Vikings, for the Warriors rather. And she has chipped in 8 rebounds as well. 14 points for Hallie Wright, 4 rebounds and 5 assists, 5 steals as well for Wright. And the Vikings will inbound here. Iwami will get it to Dykstra, and Dykstra couldn't get it to go. Walling fighting for it, and a big call here. They're going to want to take a look at this one. 37 seconds left. I believe that was the signal there, was they were going to review it to make sure they get it right. But both teams huddling with their respective coaches with 37 seconds left on the clock. We'll see who gets the ball here, as for the Vikings, nobody in double figures. They have 9 from Olsen, Molly Olsen, and they have 8 from Riley Dykstra, a couple of threes. 7 from Emma Duff, who had all 7 of those in the first half, I believe. And 5 rebounds from Katrina Jamaica to lead the way in that department. She's also from Everson, Washington, along with the Dykstra sisters. Did not go to the same high school as them. But teams back onto the floor. 37 seconds to go, and it is going, looks like, let's see here. If I could hear a little more gym audio in this headset, or any gym audio in this headset, I'd have a little bit better idea about who they're giving the ball to here. It looks like it's going to be Corbin's ball with 37 seconds to go. 2-point ball game. Warriors by 2. And it's going to be Gemma Laverne to inbound. Gets it in to McCoy. McCoy being hounded by Iwami. And we get a whistle. And they're going to get Iwami for a foul. Just a little bump there. And that's her 4th foul. With 31.9 to go, she's protesting the call with the other official, as she didn't feel like she committed a foul. McCoy to the free throw line, puts in the first. And that makes it a 3-point margin for Corbin. This would be a big upset if they are able to finish it. And McCoy, Gracie McCoy, knocks down 2 big free throws with 31.9 to go. 4-point ball game. Here's Dykstra. Finds Walling for a three, and that one's off the mark. No good. Rebound to Holly Golinor. Pulled away by Walling, and she couldn't get it to go. Here's Castaneda, and she's blocked, and it's going to be Golinor coming down with it. She's tied up. Corbin with a 4-point lead, 12.6 to go, and they will head the other way to the free throw line. And the Corbin Warriors are looking like they are going to pull this one off. They were down 23-8 late in the second quarter, and then they turned it on, and they have played well since. Here's Holly Golinor to the free throw line. Second foul. Shot clock is off. Second foul called there on Castaneda, and Golinor's free throw is good. Makes it a 5-point margin. Second one good as well. And it's a 6-point ball game with 12.6 to go. And it may be a little too late for the Vikings. This, of course, an exhibition game. And Vikings, though, are not going to like the way that this one has gone. Corbin, though, has come to play this afternoon. And have to give them credit, as it really was just Golinor for a little while, and you know, Wright kind of stepped in there and made some plays, and then they really kind of put together a team effort, as they had nothing going in the most of the first half. They only had 8 points up until we were inside 5 minutes to go in the first half. But they lead 63-57. Bill Pilgrim, in his 4th year as the head coach of the Warriors, got to be happy with the way his squad has responded here. After yesterday, Seattle Pacific took them down fairly easily, as they will be on the court next against Humboldt State. Here is Danny Uwami leaving a three short, and it's saved in bounds, and it's tied up, and it's going to go Corbin's way again. They actually take a timeout with 6.2 to go. Corbin does. And a 6-point ball game. Corbin in front of Western Washington. And the Warriors came to play this afternoon. They got beat yesterday by the Falcons 63-38. Falcons picked to finish 8th in the GNAC, and the Vikings picked to finish 2nd. And the Vikings may have taken the Warriors a little lightly, but the Warriors really stepped up in that second quarter. They will inbound again. McCoy with 6 seconds gets it in and gets it back, and they will run out the clock. And the Corbin Warriors pull off the upset over the Western Washington Vikings by a count of 63-57. As, again, this is an exhibition game, but the Warriors got to be happy with how this one went, as they walk away from Seattle Pacific University 1-1 on this weekend, as they're 1-3 officially on the season. Neither of these games counted for them in their non-conference standings. Western Washington, though, dropping, and they go 1-1 on the weekend, as Corbin wins it 63-57. And we will take a look at some final stats here. And actually, the stats not quite caught up yet. And they did take the all the points off the scoreboard here as well. So it was a 6-point margin, though. Holly Golanor with 25 for the Warriors, and I believe that was where she finished. And the Humboldt State Lumberjacks on the floor now. The Seattle Pacific University Falcons will be following them onto the floor in just a moment as well. We will have those two teams coming up for you. Corbin with a 63-57 win over Western Washington. We will take a break here and be back with Game 2 of the doubleheader in just a little bit, around 30 minutes from now. We'll come back and have that for you. Humboldt State coming up against Seattle Pacific.